What's going on, everybody? Today's a very different video from what I normally do. Normally we do gear reviews and a bunch of other things, but today is actually a very happy day for me. And as you can tell by the title of the video, this is celebrating my 1-year actual battle with depression. And it's something that I'm very proud of, and it's something that I want to share with everybody. Not so much to talk about myself, but to really reach out to anyone that might be suffering from stuff like this, because I can tell you right now it is one of the most devastating things that can reach anybody. And whether you want to call it a disease, a disorder, or whatever it might be, it's something that will keep you down, and it's something that will suck. I personally just call it depression because depression sucks. March 3rd, 2019 marks a year, and now that's March 3rd, 2020 that I'm posting this, that I started seeing therapists, counselors. I started my rounds of anti-anxiety, antidepressants, and a bunch of other things, and it's something that I never ever thought I would have done. And realistically, I had been struggling with depression since before the age of 10. And you know, going from a year ago to now, my outlook on life is completely different, and I can tell you right now my life is a lot better now because I sought that help, and I got that help that I needed a lot. So once again, I'm making this video not so much for me, but for people watching this, to say that you're not alone. It's okay. There's nothing really wrong with you. It's just something that you need help with. And when you seek that help, I think you'll be surprised that there are a lot more people out there to reach out and grab your hand, and there are a lot more people in your corner than you think. And even me, making this video, I'm in your corner. Whether I know you or not, I'm in your corner. And I'll help you with this because it's something that people will struggle with for the rest of their life. So my story starts when I was 12 years old. I was in 7th grade. I had a really tough childhood. I had a really rough upbringing. I had a lot of tragic family events that happened that really didn't make growing up all that easy. And basically in the household I grew up in, it was, if you have something bothering you, you have to keep it to yourself. You have to really just kind of get over that hump and don't let it bother you anymore. And if it bothers you, just keep it to yourself and just go through it. Also, the sports I did between boxing and wrestling, you're kind of told that you need to just have a lot of mental toughness. Although with depression, you slowly find out that it's not a mental toughness thing. There's something not firing correctly up in your brain. So 12 years old, I got diagnosed with clinical depression by my school counselor. And he said, basically, you need to go outside of school and get medication and get this, get that. Now I'd already started taking medication to regulate my anger problems that I had and to regulate my my ADHD and a bunch of other things, and I just didn't want to keep taking medications because I've seen how people in my life were affected by certain medications, and I just never wanted to do that. So and honestly, till a year ago, I wouldn't even take Tylenol if my thumb hurt. It was just one of those things. I had surgery, and I didn't take the stuff to make the pain go away or whatever, because it's just I didn't accept any type of help. So going throughout from 12 till 18, I was just very angry all the time. I was a little bit more confident in myself, but I also got in trouble a lot because of my anger, because of my depression, and because of a bunch of other things. And it wasn't until I was 18 when I got out of high school, and I had got in trouble not only in school, but one time with the law, which was not fun, although thank God that, I got through that. When I was 18 years old, I basically was re-diagnosed by my school psychiatrist, who actually was a licensed psychiatrist outside of school, and wanted me to go to her practice after that. But she said, if I were to diagnose you with something, I'd say you have clinical depression, paranoia, and post-traumatic stress, along with a bunch of other things, insomnia. I also had a bunch of other these general anxiety disorders that I just can't even pronounce or think of, and it just wasn't fun to deal with. Only thing is, in college, you realize that if you act out in college, they expel you, your money's gone, and you might get a phone call from the police as well. So I couldn't act out like I used to in high school. I couldn't just go to the gym and hit the bag or something, and that was something that I struggled with. So I started to notice I became very passive. I became very lost with things, and I just felt worse and worse getting up every day. I was gaining a lot of weight. I was understanding in my head that I was getting worse because I thought I wasn't worth the chair I would sit on sometimes, and I started really beating myself up worse than I ever had. And then when I was 21, a year ago, I was actually on my way home. 2 weeks ago, a year ago, basically, I was on my way home from weighing in for my my second to last MMA fight, and my girlfriend said, "Why aren't you excited? Why aren't you happy about this? You know, ever since I've known you, you've seen like really hit and miss with things." And she goes to school for psychology and neuroscience, and she's the smartest girl I've ever met in my life. And she said, "You need to go seek help." I knew something was wrong because it was my senior year in college, and I remember my very first day of school, I woke up and missed all my auditions. I went to school for music. I missed all my auditions. I missed all my first classes. I missed my first wrestling practice. I missed everything. I didn't want to be around anybody. I just wanted to sleep and get the day over with. And honestly, a year ago, if I had not woken up, I would have been okay with it. And that's the hardest thing to talk about now, because now I wake up every day and I'm happy with life, and I never want the lights to shut off. And it's just crazy because I'm so scared of that and where I was just a year ago. So I also knew something was wrong when I would miss wrestling tournaments. I would make up excuses. I did have a lot of other stuff going on in my life. You know, my parents divorced. I had a lot of other things that were going on, and I thought it wouldn't bother me, and the divorce itself didn't bother me, but the events that pursued afterwards, and the things with school and everything was just being tossed at me. I just wanted everything to stop. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and that was just do nothing and relax all day, because I had been struggling with all this stuff since I was, 8, 9 years old, and I just didn't want to struggle with it anymore. So that was something I constantly had to struggle with. That was something that I still struggle with quite a bit. It's a lot easier to manage and cope because I'm so open about this now. The thing about depression is it has its bouts. Some bouts are worse, some bouts are better. And you really learn to accept that it's never going to go away. You can only manage it. But managing it becomes a lot easier over time. And that's why I'm making this video especially. A year ago, because someone went out of their way to tell me that they love me enough. Sorry. My girlfriend told me, I love you so much and I want you to do this before, this takes you, because I don't want you to become another statistics with depression. And so I did. And so now I take 3 different medications to manage my depression, my anxiety, my paranoia. I was re-diagnosed again at 21, and I still struggle with it a bunch. And a year later, today, March 3rd, 2020, I can tell you that it is possible to manage, and it is going to be hard. You're going to want to quit a bunch, and in fact, I did quit once throughout it. In September through October, I tried quitting my antidepressants, and it just didn't work. And I'm back on them full swing now and everything, and my life is good. It's something that's very hard to accept at first, guys. It's really hard. I think the stat is something like 38% of the U.S. population has it, but another 20 to 30% might be going undiagnosed with it. And I'm just telling you that it's not just a mental weakness thing. It's not just something that is there that can just go away by you trying to push through like you could in like sports. Like with me, if I'm ever sore for the last minute on the mitts or the bag or sparring or something, I can reach into my foundation and say I can keep going for this minute. But then there were times when my depression would be so bad that I didn't want to wake up anymore. And it's just crazy to see where I am from a year ago till now, and how much my life has changed, especially for the better. And now I've learned to love life more than I ever have. And I'm only 22 years of age. And if you're struggling with stuff like this, and if you think you have struggled with stuff like this, I'm telling you that you can fight it. It's not the end of the world. You will come out on top of it if you try and try and try. And you will have people there to help you. And even someone like me that you don't even know. I'm here. Tyson Fury. He was talking about combat sports with the channel. Tyson Fury literally almost killed himself. He went into a deep depression, got into drugs, alcohol. He had it worse probably than anyone. And now the man, every single day, he tries to, promote mental health and promote all these other things. And I'm telling you, he's right. You can fight it. You can get through it. You just need help, and you need to admit you need help. So this is my plea to you if you're watching this. If you have something wrong and you need help with it, seek help. Because there was a point in time where I thought I was just going to become another statistic too. And I'm telling you that it's not worth it. That life is too short to be miserable through it. There is something better out there. It's going to kick you. It's going to beat you. You just got to keep getting up and keep going forward. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for watching.